Cheek back with another one, and in this one we covering a little recruiting tip. I call it the 3 P's method, guys. And to start with this method, we gonna jump right into it. You want to get into this team needs screen. When you doing your recruiting, this team needs screen is essential. So you want to pull up to this team needs screen, and you just want to check out, if we starting with the QB position, you just want to check out the classes. You want to check out the rating of the talent, and you want to see the balance that you have between the classes. What type of balance you got? As you can see on the right, you can also check the players' archetypes, the heights, weights, overalls, just quickly to keep you on track. So this team needs screen is definitely essential for this little tip, trick, however you want to take it, man. So this method right here that you're going to want to follow is going to just make sure that, in your dynasties, that you're replacing talent the proper way, that you're, conscious of, your talent and how you need to replace them to keep your team as successful as possible. So like I said, we're going to jump right into this one with a clear example. So for the QB position, you can see I have 2 juniors and 1 sophomore. So that's where we get into our 3 P's, guys. So I'm going to take you to the depth chart real quick as we break down these 3 P's so you can get a better look. And the 3 P's that you really want to make sure that you have in each position group as a little recruiting trick is first, performers. Depending on the position, of course, you're gonna have more than one, and we'll give you different examples for that. But for the quarterback position, you need to have one performer. You need to have a guy that you can rely on performance-wise, and you need to just make sure that that guy has the things that you need, whether you're looking for a scrambling archetype, whatever. We just gonna make sure that you're replacing this talent properly. So whatever your scheme is, make sure you have a performer, a guy that you're comfortable with the stage, the prestige of your team, the tier of your team, whatever your team is at right now. Make sure you have a performer. That is your starting quarterback. That is your leader at the position, your most talented, trustworthy guy at the position, right? That is your performer, your first P. Second P, we're gonna go into a preserver. So this guy is here to preserve what your team is trying to do in the occasion or in the situation where your performer goes down or your performer is not available. You need that that preserver. So in this situation, in this rebuild, I'm kind of torn between Luke and Josh Swift. I don't want to give you guys too much for the guys who's going to check out this rebuild, but I'm kind of torn between these guys, so they can kind of jump between being performers and preservers, right? However, though, with having a performer and a preserver, you also want to have a progressor. That's my bag right there. So you got your performer, you got your preserver, and you have your progressor. And the progressor is a guy that maybe they're all similar archetype because of your scheme and what you're going for, but this guy has to have the general sense of what the other guys have, but he has to be somebody who we're comfortable with developing alongside or behind these guys in the meantime. And you really want to have that. As you notice, he's a sophomore compared to these guys being juniors. This is kind of the perfect way to set up this method to make sure that you're replacing talent properly. I keep a 3 to 4 quarterback QB room, which is normal, and sometimes I'll go with 4 depending on the potentials of my progressors. But these P's are very essential to replacing your team properly, and this is just easy using a quarterback. One position, very important position. You see, we got our performer, we got our preserver right close to our performer, and then we have our progressor. The progressor is always going to be younger, or should be younger, just based on the fact that you want this guy to be where your performers or your preservers are at as he's growing. So the tier, based on the tier of your team, you want to make sure you're within that range. We're only 2.5 stars, but we're in that 80 overall tier, so we're playing better than what our prestige is right now. And as we're growing, it's essential that we replace the level of talent the proper way, or we're not going to have that consistency. I play CPU versus CPU, so I'm really viewing how these players are playing based on their attributes and things of that nature. So this is very important to me in just making sure that I'm replacing these players with players of their tier, players that can follow up and do the things that I asked of my performers, my preservers at certain times. So you just want to make sure you're replenishing your talent properly. And we're just gonna jump into another example. I guess I could cover some of the main positions. We already did a quarterback, which is one guy. I know some of you guys do halfback stuff, but we're just gonna go to receivers because that's a position where it gets a little more complex due to multiple receivers being on the field at one time. But it's still the same concept. We got a performer. Here goes our top performer. We got Sifo Ongumbowale. You know what I'm saying? So Sifo is a junior. You know what I mean? We could take it back to that team needs page if need be, just to make sure that your classes are set properly. But just looking here right now, you see I got some guys redshirted. I got some freshman redshirts who, you would say they are very much still in the progression stage. That red shirt is an obvious progressive stage. So outside of the red shirts, if you just pay attention to what I got in the depth chart, we got some guys in the progressive stage, but we also do have a top performer in Sifo. So Dobson is of course going to be, in the middle of that performer and preserver stage, but that's cool. He has the talent, the speed, he has all the things that kind of matches up with our top performer, and that is what I like to look for when I'm just replacing the talent properly. You can see a bit of a drop off at this catch in traffic, but he does have the speed, acceleration, agility. He has a lot of things that I like, you know what I'm saying? And we did start off with Kennesaw. I believe this is like 4 years. This might be the 4th year into the rebuild. So there's some things and some areas that we have to take a hit on based on the level of talent we're able to bring in and try to progress. But that's why this method is so essential, because even though our main performer is at 86, our second performer is we want to have him right behind him. Sifo is a little higher, but for the most part, talent wise, he's on par with him. After that, you have your preservers. So these two guys will be the preservers, in which if any case something goes wrong with these two guys or one of these two guys right here should be in a shape where they can come in and compete. And you can see that 87 catch in traffic. My preservers definitely can compete with my starters or my performers. My performers are definitely better and have better progression and things of that nature, like better dev traits and things of that nature, and that's why they're performers. But you always want to make sure you're on the prowl recruiting or looking in the transfer portal for guys who can preserve and just be right underneath your performers. They may not be in a progressive stage, you know what I mean? This guy's a senior, this guy's a junior, but they're high level preservers, meaning that at any point any of these guys go down, I know that these guys may not be eye-popping with the dev trait or eye-popping with the overall of their stats or their physical abilities, but they are going to be able to come in and preserve and do what we need our team to do. Like, the team identity shouldn't change that much from your preservers and your performers, if that makes sense, especially at the wide receiver position. You want to make sure there's some consistency for your quarterback. And in my case, like I said, I do CPU versus CPU. I put myself in a situation where I'm like really the coach and I have to react and scout and do these intricate things like with a lot of detail. So this is very important. And then if you go down to our progressors, we are obviously got our red shirt guys, but we have these guys right here, these younger freshman guys who are talented. They can and will be on par with our guys at some point. This guy got the speed where the other guy may not have the speed. As you can see, he has the catch in traffic. So that's how you're kind of scaling it, just to make sure you're replacing the talent. What one doesn't have, you want to make sure the other has. You know what I'm saying? And you want to make sure that at all times when you're scouting and you're recruiting, that guys are actually fitting the mold of your team, guys. So for this wide receivers, that was just a slightly more complex because you have a slot receiver, and you also have a you have two wide receivers, a slot receiver in certain packages. So things can get tricky, but just keep the concept. As you can see, whether this was number 1 receiver, he's still on par to preserve as a number 1 receiver if CFO was to go down. This guy can preserve and be a number 2 if he was to go down. This guy can come jump in, be a number 3, number 2 slot if these guys go down, so on and so forth. The talent, is there. The things that they can do are very, replaceable by the other. You know what I mean? Where it's not that much drop off, or if there is drop off, he excels at something else that ultimately keeps it balanced. So, moving on, if you just to give you guys, different looks at what this looked like, we can also go to the cornerback position, who also is like the receiver position because it's the opposite, has a similar situation. And if you look at our situation here, we have a sophomore who is actually the highest overall player, but sometimes with these younger players who are more talented, you have to take a knock on things like awareness and things like play rec. So you want to pay attention to that, guys. And with this method, same concept. You got your 3 P's, you got your performer. So in this case, our guy he's a progressor and he's a performer, which is our favorite type of performers when they're high overall, good progression. I believe he has an impact progression. And when they got that high overall, high progression, they're young, that is perfect. That is the ideal situation, but you still want to keep the same concept. If these 2 are my performers, let me make sure that my preservers are right in line. And as you can see, we got some seniors behind, these guys who can play. These guys can easily come in and, we're not going to get too much drop off. Yeah, one guy may have, a little less man coverage, a little less zone coverage, a little less press and things of that nature. But for the most part, there's not really a big drop off in the play style and how we have these guys set up. We also have some guys redshirted, some big red shirts in this situation where we know that our, progressors are coming right in ready to play. And I could have let some of these guys, I could have let this guy, especially Stoke, just come right in and be somewhat of a performing progressor or performing preserving progressor if that's the case. But because we already have so much talent on this team, why not keep him? Why not let him? He's an elite he has an elite progression, and I know you want to throw those elite guys right in the fire, but when our talent is so properly aligned and we have the necessary replacements, it's no need to take the knock on the lack of awareness with the high level young guys. Like I said, I do watch the games. I do AI versus AI with realistic sliders and quarters. I cannot take those long games and those situations and matchups in the game where an elite talented young guy who has good progression has far less awareness than some of my more established guys who actually had that on field progression. So these are things that you just want to pay attention to with the 3 P's, and I will be dropping more tips and tricks for you guys. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop some questions, drop some other methods if you guys have some. We still very much community based as far as just trying to build this channel and keep the tips and tricks within what we're doing. So I hope this was a clear little explanation for you guys, and a nice method that can help you continue to progress and properly replace the talent on your teams, man. I've been having a lot of fun with these rebuilds. I think they're doing a good job of updating this game. I am an AI versus AI type of guy. I like to strategically beat the computer by putting better talent on the field over time, coaching, things of that nature. So if you want more content, more based in that way, tips and tricks based in that way, CPU, whether it's quick sim, or slow sim, or you actually play the games, these tips and these strategies definitely will work for you. But let me know what else you guys want, man. So man, if you here, make sure you drop those 3 P's in the chat as well. Triple P's. I want to see all the commenters dropping triple P's in the chat, man. And thank you guys, man. Thank you guys for all the love on the channel. We're gonna continue growing and flowing. It's your boy Kamish Mullah, and I am out. Peace.